Hi, welcome back to the Spirit's Path. Today's tarot card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot deck is the Ace of Arrows and the Breath of Life. And when I was looking at these cards today, yesterday we had that Ace of Bows and the Spark of Life. And in the Spark of Life, the arrow is pointed down. That's what's creating the fire, but the smoke is lifting up. And then here you get a bird's eye view of that smoke coming up, and the Ace of Arrows has that smoke coming up into the air. It's that breath of life. So the wind's taking it, right? The wind is moving it into other avenues for you, okay? And, what this is telling me is that, not only do you have a new beginning by crossing over into, another part of the Wildwood Forest, and you got the change in destiny at your hand. Yesterday, we talked about that passion, that creativity that's out there. And today, it's all about the thought process. Arrows is all about air energy. It's all about logic, reasoning, okay? It's also about communication. So, here you are getting some clarity on this communication that you may be having internally or externally, okay? But it's about breathing that life into a thought and seeing it through to the creation of what you had yesterday. Okay, so while we have that fire energy and the air energy, you need both, okay, in order for it to, one, give you that spark, but now you've got that passion within you, okay? Now you've got that opportunity to say, you know what, I can put this into action. I just need to think this through, okay? And when you do that, when you think about what it is you want to accomplish, you can see the vision in your mind's eye, right? You can see all the steps it's going to take. You may be able to see all the financial stability that's going to come out of it, okay? Because what you're doing is you're touching into that creative self. You're touching into a part of you that's inspiring you to move forward with that Ace of Bows. Okay, so the Ace of Arrows is, you're thinking clearly, you're using your thought process to put that plan into place, okay? And, just like the Ace of Bows, you're touching the universe. Spirit is talking to you through your thoughts, okay? The universe is touching you and giving you those ideas of what's coming ahead. Your spirit guides are saying, hey, on this project, you may want to go a step further because this will protect you down the line. Okay. And with those thoughts, with those inspirational messages, all right, you're going to be clear. You're going to be with a purpose on moving forward to put that creative idea into place. And none of this would have happened if you didn't take that rest day, okay? To have that reset, right? To feel that, today's kind of windy, to have that air blowing through your hair, right? As you're moving forward with this new vitality of creative, thoughtful energy, be aware of the impulses that you have too, because, the passion may say, hey, you want to do this, and yet your mind might be saying, I don't really know about that, okay? It's just like I talked about yesterday in the relationship. You may have that spark in that relationship, okay? Your impulse may be to just jump right in. But this Ace of Arrows, this breath of life, is going to give you that clarity, okay, around the relationship as a whole, not in an instant of, hey, this person really likes me. You're going to look at it from a macrocosmic perspective and say, okay, if we continue moving forward on it, you're going to do some thought processes around this, right? But you don't want to be hasty about it. You don't want to just jump right in, okay? You need to think about it. And, as you do that, your subconscious is going to, bring that in. So watch your dreams, watch your, the deja vu, right? And try to give yourself an aspect of, okay, think about, I'll give you an analogy. So there was a gal walking down the street the other day, and I happened to look out my window, and I saw her. And this was a gal that had done some Reiki work, some chakra work on me. All right. And, very, very pleasant. I've seen her, a couple times to do some Reiki clearings and some chakra clearings. And we've got a good rapport. Well, when I saw her walking down the street, I jumped out and, went out and said hi. All right. That was the impulse. That was the Ace of Bows fire energy. Okay. The Ace of Arrows breath of life was the energy of, is this somebody that could be a friend moving forward? Is this somebody that I can help on their spiritual path moving forward? Okay. And, the dreams that came about, with everything, and I slept good that night. So her energy balanced my energy out. And, it just allowed me to say, you know what? There may be opportunities here in the future to go back in for more clearing. Okay, whether that's Reiki or chakra or even, just a regular massage. Okay, and that's that energy of moving forward. Okay, the universe has, and God has, special ways of putting people in your life to help you out, okay, on your spiritual path. Whether you know it or not, just a simple conversation, okay, the communication of going out and talking with her and saying, hi, how are you doing? And, how's business going and things of that nature. And, and just developing that friendship. Again, it was the impulse, but it was the clear communication during that conversation with her as we're walking down the street. So, the universe has that plan of putting people in place for you when you least expect it, to give you that message to help you with your clarity. Okay. And all you need is the confidence to pursue it. Same thing with the Ace of Bows. The confidence to move forward with that passion, that fire of creativity. All right. Here you've got the thought process, the communication process, the logic process, what makes sense. Okay. And a lot of times as we continue down our spiritual path, we overthink. And that's, even though the breath of life has given us that inspiration, okay, can also give us that analysis by paralysis. All right. So, as you're gaining your confidence and you're gaining your self-esteem as you're walking forward to pursue those thoughts into action, to pursue those thoughts into that, that creative piece, be aware that you don't overanalyze it. If this is a relationship and you've got that new creative passion moving forward, okay, and you sit down at dinner with your significant other, and you're logically thinking about how to approach, this creative project. Maybe it's a, home project or something like that with them. They see the passion coming from you, but they also hear the clarity. They hear the communication of, and you articulate that vision to them on how to get that home project done. And this could be done at work as well. If this, again, let me drop back to the relationship a little bit. If you're articulating that project and the both of you can work on that, you're strengthening that bond. You're strengthening that, that relationship with that significant other. Even if it's, a family project, gardening or whatever, everybody's going to do some landscaping this weekend. Okay. When you articulate that thought process and everybody joins in, at the end of the day, you can have a soft drink or whatever afterwards and celebrate the fact that, hey, the garden looks great, or the rakes, the leaves all got raked up because everybody participated. Maybe celebrate with a nice dinner. And it's the same thing at work. When you can articulate those thoughts in that process, all right, of finishing that project, or, just having that communication with your boss, all right, and they see the passion that you have, along with the clarity and how you communicate, they may look at it and say, you know what, this is somebody that we could have, within our business as leadership potential. All right. They may not tell you that out directly, but, they may insinuate that, hey, there might be a promotion in line for you, if you finish this, in a timely fashion. So, with that, with that passion that you have on that project, whether it's home or work, okay, this Ace of Arrows, the breath of life, and how you communicate, how you logically think about pursuing that creative project to an end, to where it benefits all, eventually will benefit you in the long run. Aces are about new opportunities. Aces are about new beginnings, and there's nothing but new beginnings down here. From when you crossed over 5 days ago as the Wanderer, to the Blasted Oak, you're free of your bonds. You're free of the constraints and restrictions that were holding you back. Okay? Again, the wheel, you've got the destiny and fate that the universe has for you. So use these two aces, this Ace of Bows and the Ace of Arrows, the breath of life and the spark of life, to spur you forward in developing new relationships through your communication, through your reasoning, okay, through the clarity that the arrows provide, okay, because all the smoke is going up, which means you are on the path up, okay, you are moving forward, just as the smoke is up here, as it's moving up from the spark that you created yesterday in that Ace of Bows. So that's a combo reading, really, Ace of Arrows, Ace of Bows, but that's the card of the day, the breath of life, that Ace of Arrows out of the Wildwood Tarot deck. Hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, share it with others, give me a thumbs up. And this is D for Spirit's Path. Keep moving forward and, enjoy the good weather and just feel that that clarity come through your life. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care, God bless, and stay safe, everybody.